Hey folks, this is Brent East with Easton Farms. Well, thought I'd give everybody a quick update on the cattle here. We're making a move here for the day and entering a new paddock that we've never grazed before. I just got some fencing and power over here this morning, so thought I'd take a minute here to video the girls coming into a new paddock. Come on, girls! Come on, girls! Always tell when they're excited coming into a new paddock. I had a cross wire across there. They were kind of hesitant to come across. Last time they saw that spot, there was a cross wire across there. See, about everybody slicked off, lost their winter hair. Come on, girls. So this paddock is looking pretty good. Got a pretty diverse mix of stuff in here. Blackberry briars, a little ceresia, some other various broadleaves, several types of grass. Got some fescue. We've got some yarrow. Here's some. This is what yarrow looks like. It's a medicinal herbaceous. And we've got some invasive honeysuckle in here. That's what this stuff is. I don't know if the cows will eat it or not. It's the first time they've seen it as far as I know. We've got a few different kinds of wildflowers in here. Some clovers. This one's Indian paintbrush. Really pretty prairie flower. Makes a pretty nice looking paddock. Got some big blue stem here. Should have gotten over here and moved them a little sooner. I think they weren't out of anything to eat, but they get bored. They tend to lay around instead of eating. Moving them encourages them to keep their belly full all the time. It's been so darn muddy, I've been slowing them down. They were on that crop field over there, and I didn't really care if they kind of pugged it up. So I was a little more liberal with what they did in there than in the permanent pastures. That crop field's pretty rough anyway, and it's in persistent no-till, so it's going to hold up to the traffic fairly well. It's no big loss if it gets chopped up a little bit. They haven't done too much damage to it. There's 45 acres there, so as much as they move around grazing over it, and then there's another 5 acres there on the south side of it they still had access to. So 43 head running over 50 acres for a few days wasn't going to hurt anything. There's still waist deep vegetation in there in spots. But like I said, they get bored after they've grazed over an area. They tend to slow down on eating stuff. See, they're not very hungry though. They're just in the exploration phase. Walked over there and saw the fence and turned around. And we've got new barbed wire fence. Well, it's not brand new now, but it's been in there probably 4 years, but we built that in there new not long after we bought the acreage here. The brush corner here, that's a perimeter fence. It goes around the road and it goes up to the corner up there and then turns back west and goes, I don't know, quarter mile west. And I've got fenced off down there, but I didn't run electric all along that perimeter. That 5-wire barbed wire fence is going to be good enough to hold these. don't care too much about getting out anyway. So all I did was ran a leg off of my hot wire around the edge of the brush here, and I tied it into the barbed wire fence there with a plastic step-in post so that my wire don't ground out the fence to the barbed wire fence. So what I've got is just a hot wire that runs around this edge of brush through the gap and all the way back around the other side and back around to the crop field. I didn't fence this brush off so they can run in there if they want to, but so far the very limited spots of brush that I've given them access to, they didn't really care to wade off in there, but I'm sure there's plenty in there that they could browse on if they got adventurous, and they'd have plenty of shade in there if it turns off hot. But we've been so cloudy and rainy every day here for the last week that I don't think that's going to change. I think they're calling for partial sunny today, but we're around 12:30 or 1 o'clock by now. I haven't looked at my watch, but it looks like the clouds still going to stick around all day today. So yeah, these paddocks look great. We've got some wild roses and quite a bit of clover over here. See a bumblebee. Got some really nice white flat Dutch clover over here. I spread a little bit of that. See one of our pollinators. It's what you like to see. Fortunately, I don't see any honeybees in here. And I think that's that yellow flower there, I think is medic. I need to look that up and see for sure. There's quite a bit of that around here. It's a clover-like legume. We've got a healthy population of bumblebees over here. Another one. Man, I've cleared this strip out through the brush here to connect these two little paddocks. I think there's 4 acres in each one of these. And when I did that, I reseeded what I'd cleared into grass and clover, and the deer have spread it up into here, just browsing on the seed heads and coming out here and dropping it. I need to overseed the rest of this, but eventually it'll seed itself. There's another bumblebee. Some more giant big blue stem and some more yarrow. And we've got some wild soybeans in here. Pretty good population of those I noticed earlier. There's some more. And some milkweed. Pretty good mix of stuff in here. This should keep them busy for a day or two. I probably should have split this paddock into 2 and grazed it in 2 separate pieces, but since we never had been over here before, I thought I'd give them the whole thing and see how they did. It looks like some of them made it down into the brush. Looks like they're chewing on some of the tree limbs over there at the edge. That's funny. That's alright. They can browse what they want to in that brush and probably give us an extended grazing period on this paddock. And it might help start turning that into a bit of a solo pasture. We need to do some timber stand improvement in that. We need to do a lot of that around on this farm actually. There's quite a bit of this that's pretty brushy. But there's just about the right mix of kind of open areas. And really pretty property. Pretty proud of it. They're spreading out now. They seem to be pretty happy. Well, the ticks are thick this year. No matter how much I spray myself or what I spray myself with, I end up with ticks crawling around on me. I like to use there's a product called Sawyer's permethrin. You just put it on your clothing, but it works really well. I hardly ever find a tick stuck to me, just crawling around. Once they crawl through that, they're pretty much done. Well, I was glad to be able to catch a paddock move here on video. This little pocket of grass over here is more or less out of the wind, just a little bit of a breeze. Hopefully it's not too bad on the phone here. But anyway, before this video runs any longer, I think I'm going to cut it off here. I've got sheep to go take care of. Go check one more time. I've already taken care of them this morning, but we've got, I think 23 lambs now, so, and just about done with lambing season. And the puppies are doing really well. Been letting them out quite a bit. We did have some problems this year with lambs so far, some fairly reasonably minor problems, but I lost a little ewe lamb yesterday, which is no minor thing, but for whatever reason her mama's udder seems to have plugged up, and she did this last year before she dropped a lamb, and her udder got sore and she stopped letting the babies eat. She didn't orphan them, but they were still trying to nurse on her and weren't getting any milk apparently, and she wouldn't stand still long enough for them to nurse adequately. So by the time I noticed it had gone on too long and we lost one of them. It was a bad deal. It's about as much my fault as it was hers. But so I think she's going to be our first cull. It's the second year in a row. Last year she did that before she lambed, and this year she for whatever reason she did it after she lambed. Maybe they weren't getting very much milk from the start either, I don't know. But they were nursing, so I assumed that her problem wasn't going to persist through this year that she had last year. But apparently I was wrong, and I wasn't keeping a close enough eye on her, and anyway, that went downhill fast. So little lambs are fragile. They can't take very much stress like that, so especially going out without adequate feed. So rough deal, but it happens. And then I had two this year that had triplets, and the last one actually I think she had 4. Some of them were already born and dried off by the time I got there, and the last one that was born was kind of crippled in her back end, and Mama didn't want her and didn't want one of the others, so she took 2 and kept them on her, and the other 2 I've got as bottle babies. So I'm gonna try to take that ewe that lost both of hers and milk her out by hand and soften her up and see if I can graft the 2 that I've got over on her. The little cripple one, she's not able to go on her own yet, but she is on the mend, and I'm kind of trying to give her physical therapy every day. So she just will gorge herself on milk if you let her. So she's getting stronger every day. She can stand on her own and she can walk some, but she wears out fast. I think she was laying kind of funny in the womb, and I don't think she got the muscle development in her back end, because she can feel everything back there. She just doesn't have any muscle strength. So I'll try to get her through that. I didn't have very high expectation for her, but we'll see how it goes. She seems to be exponentially stronger than she was just a couple of days ago. She was born on Monday, so this is Friday. So a few days, and they're pretty miraculous little creatures. They can overcome a lot as long as they've got milk and some care. But anyway, kind of went off on a tangent on sheep on a cattle video, so I kind of probably should apologize for that. But anyway, I thought everybody might be interested in what was going on there. And I don't know when I'll get around to shooting another sheep update, so I'll include it here. But anyway, I'll leave off here then and bid everybody a good day and talk to everybody later. Bye bye.